Warning, this podcast contains poison. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for Gotham, Season 2, Episode 16, Prisoners. I'm your host, Dom. With me, my co-hosts, John and Nikki.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
I thought you were talking about poison from Alice Cooper.
No.
I'm sad.
No.
I was connecting the poison to Poison Ivy, and I was like, what? She's doing her thing already?
No. Did you not watch this episode?
Nope.
I don't
Is
believe
Poison
you.
the band in it? Because that's probably why I passed out.
Yeah.
Sheer anger.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start off by saying I don't really know how I felt about this episode.
It was a 50-50 episode for me. All the stuff with Jim, I was like not interested. All the stuff with Penguin, I was all for it. I wanted to know more. I wanted to see what was going to happen. But
It all felt very predictable to me.
it did.
To be quite honest. Like,
Yeah.
I knew where this episode ended, 20 minutes in. I was like, okay, well, prison break, Dad's dead. You're not getting in the will, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, and to sum it all up, that's the podcast. See you guys later.
All right, yep.
No, I'm kidding. But that's really all that happened.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a very paint-by-numbers episode.
I mean, there's like a little bit of detail, like, okay, so Gordon, we saw his time in jail. None of which, like Nikki said, none of which I cared about. I don't give a shit about Gordon anymore. Like, I don't. Like, if Gordon was to have died in prison this episode, I would have been like, okay.
I think the most
Move on.
interesting part that involved Gordon was finding out about Lee and the baby. That was
Yeah,
the only
but
part that was
even that, we find out through Bullock. It happened off screen. We don't even know if it's true.
It's such
Yeah.
a cop-out.
She just stopped writing letters and ran away. Like, she didn't even tell him that she lost the baby. I something's up with that. There's no way.
I don't know. It seems out of character.
It does, and then I'm thinking that, the same way I'm going to bring Daredevil into this, the same way that, Vanessa is Fisk's weakness. I think that's how Lee is to Jim, and someone took advantage of that, and the reason why she hasn't written any letters, and the whole baby story is fabricated, she either got offed or she's locked up somewhere. Someone took her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and Cleo says in chat, and I couldn't agree more. She goes, I care more about Bullock caring about Gordon than Gordon caring about Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That makes a lot of sense.
Like, I loved watching what Harvey was doing. Like, he's just, okay, he's going to go see Jim. All right, that whole conversation, I enjoyed the conversation because it was Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all. I didn't care. Like, everything Jim said, I didn't care about. And then you're going from that to him having the meeting with Falcone. I was like, oh my
That was
God,
interesting.
that was a very nice surprise. I didn't see that coming.
No.
Like John said, yeah, it's predictable. You knew there was going to be a prison break, which, yeah, I called that too, but I didn't know it was going to be at the hands of Don Falcone.
Not
Yeah.
at all. See, and again, I kind of was hoping they would let him be in jail for more than an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know a lot of time passed,
Right.
and good excuse for Bruce and Selena to grow again. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, like, for us, it was 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been okay if, like, they just didn't do a Gordon episode and they did, like, a Bruce episode for once. And just let us ignore Gordon for a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
We kind of need that.
Yeah.
They're developing Gordon more than any other character on the show when he doesn't need it.
No, he really doesn't. He could have just been busting heads and solving crimes with Bullock this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been okay.
We're painting Gordon out into this picture that we can't get out of. Like, how is Gordon going to work his way out of this? The only way I could foresee like everything being okay is if they solve the murder of the guy in the apartment that he allegedly killed. You know, the one that Enigma actually killed. If they solve that, they're gonna have to call it Enigma for it, so that Enigma's gonna go to jail if that's the case. But if they solve that, then they could be like, okay, it was a plant job. Enigma orchestrated the whole thing. He didn't actually kill Galavan when he did.
Even if they just like unpin it off of Gordon, like if they just dug a little deeper and found out, oh yeah, Gordon really didn't do this. Now we have to figure out who. They'd have to let him out at that point because that's the reason why he's in jail, because of a false accusation.
Mm-hmm. But like, breaking out of prison's a crime.
Yes, so he's screwed for that now.
Not just a crime; it is a felony.
It's a felony. So like, yeah, cool. You cleared your name for the murder, but you still broke out of prison, so we got to bring you back to prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So unless you can talk your ass out of that.
See, the bright side of this though is he's been convicted for the murder. Right? If he gets cleared for it under the terms of double jeopardy, he cannot be charged for that same murder again.
Yes.
So that's how they get their loophole on that particular case. But they're going to have Penguin be like, no, I killed him. And then Penguin goes to jail. So either way, somebody's going to jail.
Yep. I think, that's funny enough, Chrissy's dad put it the best, or he said that show has just gone, the show has just gone so off the rails. There's no way it's coming back. Like, there's just no, like, it's just almost impossible to get this show to come back to, like, any sense of, like, normalcy for Gotham.
Yeah. Well, for Gotham, yes, but, like, we're still looking at this as, this is, like, the tellings of the classic Batman, which it's clearly not anymore. Like,
no.
Yeah. It really, it's like the Gordon storyline. It's just like, are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly it's clearly an alternate universe Batman. That's what it is, you know. And
don't you wish that you had my point of view just for a few seconds to see how this story works in my head? Because you guys go back to like the way Batman was, or other stories, other tellings, which I really don't know about at all. I've seen the movies once or twice, and
you've seen them once or twice, but you've seen them recently too. That's the thing. And like in all the portrayals of it, Gordon is a stand-up cop. You can't even be like, okay, Gordon was iffy, because he wasn't. He was always like, even in Christopher Nolan's, you know, he still was very by the books, paint by the numbers kind of guy. You know,
he started being a stand-up
right,
and,
so
you know, detective.
That's just the thing. It's like when you look at him now, especially because I know you're not as familiar with the animated series as me and John are.
Oh no!
But like, there's no way Gordon would ever do anything like this in the animated series. No. Never.
No, the worst he's done, like intentionally done. I know I mentioned something he did unintentionally last week. Mm-hmm. In the comics, but like the worst thing he's done is in like the year one story where he cheated on his wife.
Yep.
You know, but that's not breaking the law. He just makes him an asshole.
Right.
And that's okay. Like if he just
it's okay that he cheated. No, that's not okay.
Well, it's not okay, but it's redeemable. Like you can
forgive him. You
could forgive him as you know, a society.
Yeah.
Like the world can say like, all right, Jim, you slipped up. It sucks.
Yeah, it happens.
But I just don't see him as Jim Gordon. And I know, like you're saying, this is a different time, this is a different universe, this is a different world, and we're supposed to appreciate this for a retelling of the story, but I don't like Jim Gordon now. I don't like him either. I like the upstanding cop who has a starry-eyed view of the world.
See, the way I'm looking at it is in this telling of Batman, Dent, not Dent, Bullock. Harvey Bullock is our Gordon.
He is, but he isn't, I guess, because, I do know that, Gordon in other tellings, he's stand-up. He's a good guy. I mean, yeah, like John said, he cheated on his wife. He did some things unintentionally, whatever. But, like, Bullock is kind of outwardly assertive, where I don't think that Gordon was.
It's hard to tell because in, like, with the exception of the comics, in the movies, in the animated series, he's already old. He's
Gotcha.
an old man. So it's hard to tell what he was like in his youth. And people are going to become different, as they grow, especially over the course of, say, 20 years or so. But yeah, he's commissioner at this point. And Cleo's flipping out in chat right now going, Commissioner Bullock, do it. Do that. Like, I'd rather the series go in that direction, to be completely honest. And
That would be
with
amazing.
DC TV kind of exploring the whole multiverse now, it's totally something that they could do. And
Yeah.
it doesn't take away from the other Batmans that we know because they still exist in their entirety, So.
I mean, or they could just do what they did here and strap his ass in a mech suit.
Yeah.
That'll make him cool.
Mm-hmm. Do it. But,
Huh.
yeah.
Because,
He lost the mustache, though, so that was a little
because
disappointing.
robots are the new zombies. Is that how it is?
Are they?
I don't know.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay. I
This-
can get on the robot thing. Zombies can go away.
This just in, Walking Dead finale coming up this week. All the walkers are replaced with robots.
Just an army of enemy Gundams.
Yes. Anyway, the other part of this episode really was the Penguin story. And that was still kind of slow, but incredibly more interesting to me. Like, there wasn't a lot of action and stuff this episode, and it was a different pace from every other episode we've seen this season, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's
No.
good to just take a step back sometimes, but when I know when the whole episode ended, I was just like, that's it? Like, I expected more out of this episode for some reason.
It did drag, it did feel long, but for as long as it was, and like when the ending came up, it's like, really? That's it? You felt like you needed more? So like, when the episode ended, I was expecting another 40 minutes. Like, that's how I felt. I don't know.
Yeah.
This felt kind of fillery,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to see where the Penguin story goes, because I think that actually has potential to go somewhere. Jim's just going to go back to do what he was doing before he got in prison, which is trying to clear his name. So,
Right. So nothing happened on that front other than not only did Jim commit a felony, but now Bullock is involved. So
Yeah.
for busting him out in the first place. And just side note before we get into Penguin, the character Puck too, the guy that got beat up and killed, for Gordon, that was ridiculous. Like, it served no purpose.
You're a hero.
I'm not gonna die in jail, okay, but you died leaving jail.
just outside.
That's no better.
I think it was more or less to
You're
push
still
Gordon.
dead.
Because as soon as Gordon found out about Lee, it was like he didn't care anymore. He wanted to give up, and Puck was there to give him that extra push and hope that, I think if Puck wasn't there to do that for him, when Bullock showed up, he would have been like, leave me alone. But he went with Bullock.
See, I don't know, because he's like, well, okay, I'll go, but we got to go back for Puck, and all that served was for the warden to realize that Jim is actually alive. That's all that accomplished. If Jim didn't go back for him, the warden would have thought he was dead. He wouldn't have had to clear his name because he would have been legally dead.
Where is that?
Yeah. That would have been much easier.
Would have.
But not
I-
only did Bullock get implicated, now you have the guard on the inside that's implicated. Gordon's just dragging everybody down with him.
Yeah. I mean, I get the reason they put Puck in, as Gordon's other side of his conscience, and also, I guess, for the audience to be like, to remind us, like, Jim's a good guy, guys. Don't you remember? He saves people. And I'm like, Puck, you don't know what we saw. You really don't.
No.
No, you have no idea.
It came off like very disingenuous, I think. It was really shoehorned and hammy.
Mm-hmm.
Got him. Hey.
It's the name of the show, Got Ham.
Finally wrapped it around.
Okay, so Penguin. We learn from Elijah, his father, that Penguin's his only blood relative. Right? The two kids, Sasha and Charles, they're not blood related at all. I did not realize that. That didn't even become a thought going into my mind going into this episode. And then we learned Grace's backstory, how she was a waitress, turned gold digger. And I don't know. Her story's not very intriguing to me, but it's what she's up to.
Yeah.
She clearly has plans. She's been switching his heart medication out for like these little peppermints. Like I'm gonna take some heart medication right now because it's so delicious. So he's got a hole in his heart. He hasn't been taking his medication. He's been taking peppermints and washing them down with water. He can't drink alcohol.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell do you not taste that your pills are somewhat more minty than they used to be? Go on. Sorry. Continue.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Because, the difference between an aspirin and the mint you just had. I don't know. It just seemed really stupid. I was like, yeah, mints? You didn't notice? Like, you ever washed down a mint with water? It's freaking disgusing.
I've
Your
never.
throat gets a weird,
I've
cold,
never.
bad
No, I've never
feeling.
done that.
See,
Yeah.
Cleo agrees. If you can't tell a mint from a pill, you deserve to die. I agree wholeheartedly.
But, in the end, I'm really glad that Paul Rubin played Penguin's father. I think Paul Rubens is a phenomenal actor. Loved seeing him in this. I loved that Penguin and, him kind of got this bonding moment before he passed away. It was good. It was some closure, and for him not to actually be deceiving Penguin was a very nice surprise.
Yeah.
I think they were bonding the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time he was there.
Oh yeah.
The
No,
moment
that's
he
what I
met
mean.
them at his mother's grave, they were bonding, and that's probably the most amazing thing. Like, to find out that you have a father after so many years of thinking he's dead, and then not knowing that you have a son, and then all of a sudden they're just they're besties.
Mm-hmm.
And even Penguin came straight out and said, I've done bad things, I've killed people, and his dad's just that was in the past. I don't care about
Why
that.
didn't you tell me how famous you were?
That was so funny. He didn't care.
It was just he could have raped and murdered us in our sleep. And Penguin's just well, to be fair, I've never raped anyone.
You're a good bad guy, Penguin.
That's
I was
his
Good
tagline
bad
for
guy.
president. His presidential race. Penguin never raped anybody.
To be fair, I never raped anybody.
Implying that the other candidates did.
Right. Which might not be far from the truth in Gotham.
I mean,
But let's talk about Sasha for a minute. What was she doing?
trying to bang her stepbrother. That's what she was doing.
To me, the whole payoff of that was, she's wearing her nice lingerie. She goes in. Penguin, like, crab walks out from under her like the Exorcist. He's like, "What the hell are you doing? We're practically brothers." And she storms out of the room, and she's like, "He didn't go for it." And Charles is like, "Do you want me to try?"
Yeah, that was great. I was like, "You go get him, buddy." You make a man out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I don't know. That was weird. It was really weird.
Yeah, it was very, very creepy. It had like a Cruel Intentions kind of vibe to me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because
The mom
the whole movie, Cruel Intentions, was about two step children like having the hots for each other.
Yeah.
So it is. I mean, it seems weird, but there's no blood involved, so it's.
I mean, it's happened to people before.
Yeah.
Like, two kids will be dating, and then like their parents get married, and then it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
mean, it's just like at that point, it's more of a social awkwardness than like genetic or legality kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's more of a social statement than anything. It's weird in that regard, but it's like I want to know what the hell Grace has planned. Like, what is it? I'm still convinced that there's something to do with the Court of Owls involved with this family.
She's prolonging Elijah's death so that she can, solidify her place in his will, so that she gets everything he ever had, because he's the only person of his bloodline left until Penguin came along.
Mm-hmm.
So, she wants everything that he owns.
Well, he tried to change the will.
He was going to.
He planned to do it the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
Drank acid.
But he drank Penguin's acid, yeah.
Now, if, say, like, the police get involved and they prove foul play and that Grace is responsible, she loses any connection in his will, right? And it would go automatically to Penguin as long as he's proven to be blood.
Right. However, they have to prove it's foul play, and in a case like this, where the stepbrother, the stepdaughter, and the stepmother don't have any reason to like look at this any further, and knowing that he had a heart condition and he just had a doctor come in before drinking the poison and prognosis of not very long to live, they're probably not going to look into this any further than it already has been.
Yeah, they probably won't do an autopsy.
Yeah.
Because, and that's actually the law, is that I think if you have to have, if a doctor's seen the person within the year and they have like an outstanding condition that could be the cause of death, they really generally don't do an autopsy unless requested by the family, which obviously they're not going to.
Right. The only one that's would be able to request it would be Penguin, and at that point, I don't know if he legally can.
Right. It gets weird there. But I was thinking, maybe that's the setup for Gordon to start making a comeback, like they'll start investigating that with Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I mean, this whole thing could be the setup to get Penguin back on track too, for like when he finds out that they murdered his father, he snaps and goes back and undoes all of the conditioning that he had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, I still think that Hugo Strange has some kind of crazy involvement here.
Yeah, I mean, because Cleo's saying in chat that the meeting between Penguin and his father just seemed too coincidental, so maybe Hugo Strange kind of like somehow pushed that along.
Well, yeah, it was coincidental, and like the whole I said too when they were sitting there talking to the grave, he was just the way he was talking, it just seemed like, oh, she had a son. How old are you? Okay, you're my son. Like, it just seemed really weird the way it was presented, and I was thinking he was just claiming that because he knew who Penguin was, and he had other plans for him, but we find out that's not the case. So I don't know. I think there's more involved with this family. That's why I'm thinking Court of Owls. We know the Vandal family had like a genetic disease that was passed down. It skipped generations of the family. Like he said, his grandfather had this like dark way about him, and that very much described the Penguin.
Yeah.
So if it was Elijah's father, Penguin's grandfather. So he said it skips a generation. So it would skip Elijah and go to Penguin.
Yeah, I mean, it would explain a lot if that's the angle they're going for. But maybe you're right. Maybe this is, and I maybe like Hugo's endgame was simpler than we thought, in that he just wanted Penguin to have money again, so he'll get this, get his family's riches and rise to chaotic power again.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, who knows? I mean, now Falcone's back in the picture. Who knows if he's going to stay in the picture?
He didn't go very far, apparently.
No.
He supposedly left Gotham. What was he living, like, right outside the city line?
He set up a tent over the bridge.
He's been living in Hell's Kitchen with Daredevil.
Aha.
I don't think it works that way.
No, it doesn't work that way at all.
Yeah. So, anything else you guys have for this episode? With the exclusion of Bruce and Selena and Alfred, and we had a very small moment from Nigma, and it almost seemed like Nigma felt bad for Gordon at first.
A little bit.
Tiny bit. If anybody's gonna be able to clear Gordon's name, it's gonna be Nigma.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it looks like maybe he'll get caught, but just because they find out who he did it doesn't mean he's going to jail.
He could frame someone else,
right? Or he could just get away. I mean, he's kind of becoming the Riddler now, and you know how wily he can be.
Mm-hmm. He could completely frame somebody else. He could pin the whole murder on Lee.
That'll show her.
Or pin it on Bullock.
Aw, that would make
Bullock,
you sad.
I know, but Bullock's starting to like get involved, and Nick was like, well, what would you do to the killer? And he's like, I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I had an answer. Ridley's just sitting there going, So I feel like, he's contemplating, is Harvey my next target? I don't know.
I just hope it's more interesting than this episode.
Yeah. Well, anything involving the Riddler is typically more interesting than this episode, unless you go back and watch season 1.
Yeah.
So, next episode is called Into the Woods. In an attempt to clear his name, Gordon steals his case file. You're really fucking great, Gordon. And approaches Nigma for help. Meanwhile, Penguin discovers his stepfamily's role in his father's death and awakens from his conditioning.
Wow. What's that not called?
That was just actually called. And just for the record, I don't even read these synopsises until right now.
Right at this moment.
So
yeah. I don't even look at the promos.
Mm-hmm.
Every time these synopses are read. They're read.
Hold on.
It's complete surprise. So I'm totally with you there. English not good today.
It's okay, kiddo. We all have those moments.
Okay.
My brain, I think it cramped. I have a brain cramp. It's not like a brain freeze. It just literally cramped. It's like you're in pain now. That's our show. John, where can the people find you?
You can find me in further musings of this sort at No More on Twitter.
Excellent. Nikki, where can the people find you reading your Twitter handle?
Ready? A reading? They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyYVenom24.
You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM, where you can try to relieve my migraine. You can find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for your favorite TV show, games, and movies. Until next week. See you guys later.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Maybe I'll actually read something properly. Woo!
Nikki will develop a mastery of the English language. Yay!
Yay!
We don't have enough time for that.